Hey, what's up? This is Scott with Level Up Tuts, and today we're going to show you another new CSS experiment. Now for this experiment, what we're going to do is create a really cool pulsating button. Now what this button is going to be is it's just going to be a normal square rectangular looking button. However, when you hover your mouse over it, it's going to have an outline around it that sort of grows and shrinks, almost breathing and pulsating. So check it out, we're going to show you that right now, and you're going to learn some new cool CSS tricks and properties. So in this example, we have a basic link, which is just this Learn More button. What we actually have though is we have a container div that's not really doing a whole lot in this example. It's just being used to house it. And we also have a div class wrapping it of btn, which is a class I often use for buttons. So we have a div wrapping the link with button. And we have a div with a class of bg that is underneath it, and that is immediately closed. Now, yes, this div is extraneous, but to get some CSS techniques working, you sometimes need to have some extraneous elements in your HTML, which is sort of bad, but because this is just an experiment and we're making something really cool here, it's all right. So let's go ahead and get this going. If you have this HTML totally structured as is, you can follow along with this CSS. So now let's go over what we already have for our CSS. So for the CSS, we just have a body with the background color, which is this purple. Then we have a text-align center. Next, for the btn class, which is the wrapping div around the link and the other background div, we have just a margin 30 pixels and its display inline block and its position relative. We're going to go over why we need this position relative in a second after we start working on the bg class. Next, we have the actual anchor, which is a display block. We gave it an explicit width of 400 pixels, text decoration none, color white. We gave it an explicit height of 100 pixels, a line height of 100 pixels to make sure that text is center aligned, and we gave it a font size of 40 and a text transform uppercase, which is purely just display. It's for no reason in particular. Okay, so now where the magic comes in this example is this bg div. We're going to be using some really interesting CSS properties. First, let's get started by giving this bg div a position absolute. Remember we said that the position relative would come in handy. This background div is going to be filling up the entire content area of the button. And so we have it position absolute. Its width is going to be 100% of its container. Its height is going to be 100% of its container. And we're going to say it starts at the top left by giving it a top and left of 0. And next, we want to give this an outline because an outline is what we're going to be animating here. So we can say outline. And for the outline, we're going to say this is a white outline. It's going to be solid and it's going to be 2 pixels. Now, once we save that, you can see we have this outline here. It's white and it's nice and bold. Now, I'm also going to give this an opacity of 0.02 because for this sort of action, I think a strong white border here is just going to be too strong. So we want this to be sort of calming. It's going to be pulsating. Now we're going to get into the interesting stuff. So what we're going to want to do is create an animation and then trigger that animation on hover. And we're simply in the animation going to be scaling this .bg div. So let's go ahead and create the animation now. And we can give this, we can just say at key frames and then give our animation the name of pulse. Inside of brackets here, at the beginning of the animation, so at 0%, inside of brackets, we're going to say transform, and we're going to scale this 1, 1. Now what this means is that at the beginning of the animation, this background div, this border that we have here, is going to be scaled at 100%. It's going to be exactly what it normally is, 1 to 1, okay? Now we're going to give this an opacity of 0.2 because that's also its initial opacity. Now let's come in here and say at the end of our animation, it's going to be transform, and we're going to scale this. And now the numbers we use here are going to be 1.1 and then comma 1.35. Now this is just to give it sort of an even look. It's going to be scaling the X and Y axis, and because this is a rectangle, we want some sort of even space on all sides. We can play with these numbers in a little bit and see exactly what happens. Now let's give this an opacity of something like 0.05. Because this pulsating, besides just being a scale thing, we want it to sort of be an opacity thing too. Now for fun, let's just go ahead and add this animation to our div here. So we can say animation. The animation we're going to be using is pulse. It's going to be taking 3 seconds. It's going to repeat infinitely. Okay, infinite. And we're going to say alternate. So it's going to say alternate. There we go. Click save, and I need a semicolon to finish it up. And you'll now notice that without doing anything, we have this button outline that is growing. And it's almost like it's not, it's just saying, hey, I'm pulsing. It's almost like a breathing sort of thing, right? So you can see that these numbers come in handy. If we were to change this to something like 2 for the 100% scale, you can see it's going to get much wider, almost ridiculously wider. So because we had this at 1.1 and 135, the animation is going to be nice and even. And if you're wondering where I got those numbers from, it's really just a trial and error. I kept tweaking it until I thought they looked perfect. Okay, so we now have this pulsing. Let's go ahead and remove this animation from our BG div and add it once it's hovered. So let's say btn and then hover .bg. So now once we hover over the button, we're going to have this animation happen. And just like that, we have this nice pulsing animation. Now we could also add a transition on the background of this btn div, so we could say that the background is normally the same purple color, and we're going to give this a transition background over 0.3 seconds and ease, okay? And now what we're going to do is say on hover of the btn element, we're just going to change this to a different color. And now this is really not necessarily anything important, but it's just going to improve the look a little bit or change it. So what we want to do now is give this a background of another color, of which I'm going to pick this teal color, the Level Up Tuts teal. Now we can hover over this, and you can see the outline of where the button normally is. And now we have this nice pulsating effect around our button. So this is pretty cool. This is one of my favorite effects. I saw this on a website and just had to figure out how they did it. So this is how you create this pulsing hover effect on a button. Really cool effect. I love it a lot. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tuts. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment in the video below or hit us up at Twitter or Facebook at Level Up Tuts. You can always check out the leveluptuts.com and check out Level Up Pro, which is the subscription service for Level Up Tuts. So with Level Up Pro, you can download the videos, you can have code examples for the CSS experiments, and we're even going through and doing the back catalog to make sure those have code examples. There's a private forum. You get an ad-free experience on leveluptuts.com. There's even a 2-hour SAS Mastery course, which is similar to the SAS videos that I have on Level Up Tuts, but it was made special for the Tuts Plus marketplace, which no longer exists. So now I'm able to bring that to you as part of the Level Up Pro package. So sign up for $8.99 a month or $95 a year, and just check it out. Help support Level Up Tuts with Level Up Pro. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.